we're talking about the Chicago Bulls, we're actually, for once, all in agreement. We have them projected as the number 3 team in the Eastern Conference. We both picked them in the same spot. Only significant gain was Coach Fred Hoiberg, and that means loss is Tom Thibodeau. The Chicago Bulls destroyed with injuries. There's rumors that Jimmy Butler and Derrick Rose don't get along. Maybe a little old in the tooth in the front court. Just, there's a lot to love and a lot to hate about the Chicago Bulls. We're on the love factor, just to be a little positive. How can this team be not only a contender for the East, because at number 3 we have to say they are, but a contender for a title?
Well, if you have to paint an ideal situation for them to contend in the Eastern Conference, you would have to, one, assume Derrick Rose returns to form, which we've seen him even now that he's healthy. He's not even close to the same player he used to be. You would need Joakim Noah to bounce back from how he played last year, which, I mean, age and injuries might have finally caught up to him. All the minutes Thibodeau played him, we don't know, but he would need a bounce back. You'd need Jimmy Butler to continue his ascension into one of the stars in the Eastern Conference. And you'd need Nikola Mirotic. I think that would be the big key. You'd need Mirotic to take a step forward from what was already a fantastic rookie season. You saw the last couple months of the year, he was averaging around 20 points per game. I think you start to play him a lot more. You play him and Taj Gibson almost exclusively at power forward, and you give up on the twin towers of Pau Gasol and Joakim Noah. That pairing didn't work, and I think playing both of them at center and limiting their minutes is going to help them a lot. But they need somebody to step up, and they would need that person to be Mirotic.
I agree with your comment on Mirotic. I think he's poised, especially with his game. It's a very modern NBA power forward game. His ability to, I believe, he's an above-average ball handler for his size. Good shooter. He's got a nice toughness to him. I don't think it should be underrated how Dougie McBuckets could have an impact on this team. He's done well in Summer League. 6'7", 6'8", can spread the floor, and for a contending team, that's always important. And I think him along with Jimmy Butler actually complement each other pretty well, the 2 and the 3, while Dunleavy and such might get more praise. I think injury hurt him. I think McBuckets was supposed to be a bigger player last year and having a bigger role. Do you think there was anything to that Jimmy Butler, my ideal position is point guard thing that could ever see maybe Derrick Rose playing the 2, or do you think that was just internet talk, whereas they're going to kind of stay the course?
I think what Jimmy Butler meant by saying that he's a point guard is that he's been working on his ball handling, he's been working on operating the pick and roll, and he's going to be put into a larger role moving forward. I don't think he necessarily means that he's going to be literally playing at the point guard position, because that just would make a lot of sense. But I think you're going to see him initiate a lot more of the offense. You're going to see him take that bigger role, as he should. He deserves a bigger role, because at this point, he's the best player on the Bulls, and it's not particularly close.
Absolutely. And I personally think at this point of his career, Derrick Rose could benefit from playing a little off-ball. Would you agree with me there?
I'm not too sure about that. He would need to, one, improve his shooting. He's never particularly been a good shooter. And I've never really seen him operate off ball. So I don't know how he would move navigating off ball screens, if he can find those passing lanes and get into them. And with him driving to the basket, looking for those passing lanes, I mean, that opens up more opportunities for contact and for him to possibly get hurt. So I don't necessarily predict him to be a great off-ball player, but I wouldn't rule it out as a possibility.
Yeah, no, I can see that point. I mean, to me, one of the biggest questions is, do you think they take a step forward because the restrictions are taken off, or take a step back with the addition of Hoiberg and the loss of Thibodeau? Like, how do you think that coaching change hits them?
I think in the short term, it certainly hurts them. It's going to be a big change of culture, system. I don't know if their defense is going to be as good as it was in the past. It wasn't even that great last year, but I think you could see it slipping a little bit more. I think it was a change that was needed with Thibodeau not getting along with the front office. I just don't think the Bulls have the right personnel right now to play in a Fred Hoiberg system and to contend. I really do think they need to make a lot of hard decisions and changes moving forward to reshape this roster. I think they got really good pieces in Jimmy Butler and Nikola Mirotic, but outside of them, there's nobody really that jumps off the page as a cornerstone piece. We don't even know if Mirotic is that yet, but the rest doesn't seem, the old era of the Bulls doesn't seem to fit with the new era. And I think there is going to be quite the transition for them.
I would agree there. I think, to me, they're one of those teams that could be sneaky good just because teams that have a lot of talented bigs. Taj Gibson is a really good player. Mirotic, and I agree with your point before. Pau Gasol and Jokic, they split minutes, keep it on the low. Like, I can kind of see a sneaky transition if Fred Hoiberg can look at this team and say, "Listen, we're going to play you all San Antonio style, smaller minutes, get rid of playoffs." Because let's be honest, the Chicago Bulls are not going to miss the playoffs. I'm assuming health, of course. So if they can play it that way, I think the fact that they had to overplay their minutes in their games really hurt them more than anything. I think I agree with you. I don't think they are, I'm super scared that they're going to dethrone, the LeBrons of the world. But they are a team that I think if everything goes right, they're one of those teams because, we say all assuming that Derrick Rose is going to be the shell of himself that we're expecting. But with diminished minutes, people understanding a role better, maybe some better continuity on that team because of lack of pressure of not playing for Thibodeau, I do see a possibility of this team being better than it was. And while I don't see them being better than number 3 in the East in the regular season, I think they're a very strong number 3. But
I don't necessarily agree with you. Like earlier, we went over what the ideal situation would be for them. Personally, I see them taking a little bit of a step back. I think last year, Derrick Rose played a lot more games than you can expect him to play moving forward. I think that was a kind of a best case scenario for both he and Pau Gasol. I could be wrong, but just given the history, given his how difficult these injuries can be to overcome, I think it's optimistic to expect him to play as many games. We saw even Brandon Roy with his diminished minutes. He wasn't able to overcome those chronic injuries that keep reoccurring. Joakim Noah, he played through plantar fasciitis about 45 minutes a night some nights, and that was a serious injury that playing those minutes is just going to damage you long term even more. So I think the long term damage from playing under Thibodeau has kind of taken its toll on this team. Obviously, Pau Gasol wasn't there for those big minute times, but I think Noah, Rose, I just don't think the durability is there for them to legitimately be a threat in the East.
Well, we want to know what you miss. Are the Bulls a contend? Will they fight, or they keep some content? As always, please join Justin and myself for more great content here. Worst to first, hoopslounge.com. See you next time.